I gotta do, man. Is it recording?
Yeah, wow.
How can you tell?
It has a little circle thing, and wow, you really cannot see anything out of here.
What do you mean? Well, welcome everybody. So I got this idea from Joe Gilder, watching some of his videos kind of throughout the week when I should actually be working, but I was kind of at a little downtime. So I wanted to kind of do a quick studio tour. So welcome to my crib, and let's go ahead and take a look at the studio. So here we are, front door, mi casa. Let's take a look. Come on in. All right. So here we have the foyer, and we'll take a look. And this is the way down to the studio. We have a light up here that we can change and alter when I'm recording. There's a session in progress. So here we are, kind of walking down the studio. And first here we're going to come to, we got some acoustic guitars here. Nothing real fancy. We have a entertainment system here with the screen. If I'm shooting like a movie and we're just checking for sound, so we can do 5.1 surround. We have a little bar area over there set up where we can have a nice spread for people that are over here in a kind of a little lounge area, little fireplace, and an empty aquarium right now. And then we have our entertainment system here. We have just a bunch of stuff that people can play with, I guess. But yeah, so this is that space. I do have children, so we do have some toys down here. And I guess some adults can play with the toys too. Why not? Over here we just have, this is kind of like my junk cabinet, or I guess junk, this is a closet. Just a bunch of stuff here. I have another keyboard in here, actually a couple keyboards in here. I have another drum set in here. I have a Sonar Signature Series drum set in there, and some cables and stands, and some records and cases, and a few other things that I just don't have enough room to put in my studio. That room over there, back there, we are in Ohio, so we are big Ohio State fans, and Cleveland Cavs, and Indians, and Browns fans, so we are big fans. But in that room, I have all my servers and quite a few hard drives and that sort of thing, so it's kind of like the network room. And then here is our studio, so we'll come on in. So this is my little playground, and we'll kind of take a tour. We'll kind of show you some of the equipment that we have here, some of the other things that's going on. So if we look behind the door, I have here my dad's old 1968 Ludwig kit. He bought this from DeFury's Music way back in the day here in Cleveland, and it's the Green Oyster Swirl shell. They sound incredible. This is the kit that I take out when I play drums, and they just sound amazing. Mike, they sound incredible. It's got that big, like, Bonham kind of style sound. Over here, just some old tapes. That's part of a project that I'm actually kind of undertaking right now, converting all that into, like, MP3s and MP4s and that sort of thing. So, some old videos and old tapes of me playing live when I was a lot younger. So, here we have my father's old Farfisa. It's a compact duo. It does work. Everything works on it. It sounds great. We also have in that box right in that closet that we looked at earlier, we have a compact single as well, which is the same thing but just a single. It's a 5-octave keyboard. Very cool. This is a Korg Sigma. We found this in Keyboard Magazine way back before they had eBay and internet and all that sort of thing. So I actually got this out of a magazine in the back of Keyboard Magazine. Some guy had it in his studio in New York in pristine condition, so I kind of like to keep that in pristine condition. It sounds incredible. This we actually garbage picked with my dad. It's a Rhodes Mark I, 73. It sounds amazing. It's been pretty much fully restored. Everything does work on it. There's a couple scratches and nicks that I need to get cleaned up, but other than that, it works perfect. Here we have an old Gem workstation. I do play Greek music, so we do like the quarter tone, that sort of thing, which is really cool because it's got all the different quarter tone options down here. Unfortunately, I don't read Arabic, so but you figure out what they are. And then kind of walking over into this section, got some additional keyboards. Everything is linked, and I'll show you. I got a patch bay over by the mixer in the other area. I got a bunch of drives. I have a totally separate network for this room in itself, but we do have Korg Triton. We have another Korg Sigma here that's kind of been beat up. This actually got beat up. I was playing a gig in Colorado, and this just kind of got beat up. Just never quite recovered from it, but it still sounds amazing. Some outboard pedals here and some effects. We've got some more keyboards on here. This is a Roland SH2000, a Roland D50, a Roland A90EX, I think it is. A bunch of pedals down there. A Korg PA3X and a Korg Triton Extreme. And I've got some outboard modules there. Some Elises. We got a nano bass and a nano piano that we got. And way back hiding down below, we have a Casio CZ101. And I do have a breath controller here because we're doing some cool things with strings and using some breath controls. And then over here I have, in that case over here, I actually have an old 486 DX 100. I don't know, I used to run Cakewalk on it and just send MIDI signals back and forth. But like I said, all this stuff here is all gets linked in. It all has MIDI connections. It all goes back in there into the board over there. And then this is just kind of like a little practice area just to kind of get things through here. I do have this old electric chord organ. I don't think it's really worth anything, but it has a nice sound. It's very noisy though, but it sounds pretty cool. And then my little mixer there that I'm actually fixing, which I didn't heed the warning of a rainstorm, and I kind of left my equipment out. I was actually playing in Fort Wayne, Indiana, so kind of got rained on. If anything, it's clean now. It just doesn't really work with this. I gotta fix that up. This is my DW kit I've got here. Bought this probably 14 years ago, maybe 13 years ago. Sounds incredible. This is kind of like my studio kit. It is all mic'd up. I do have everything sitting here. We've got a sub kick in the front. I've got an AKG D112 on the inside. SM57 on the inside. If you take a look around here, I've got the SM57 mic here. I got SM57s on the top and the bottom of the snare. Sennheiser E604s all the way around. Shure SM81s on the ride and on the hi-hat, and then two Shure KSM 44s for overhead for a stereo pair. And then everything it gets mic'd back here. I do have headphone jacks back here so I can hear everything, I can control everything. Everything is wireless. I do have different controllers back here that I can use when I'm recording drum stuff. So, and I got an accordion here. I've got one accordion out on loan. I do play a little bit of accordion, I guess. Just a really good boy shit, right? Should always be multi-instrumentalist. It's always nice to kind of know a lot of different things. Here we got a lot of various different percussion through here. We've got some cowbells. You can never have enough cowbell. We got some tambourines, some wood blocks, different kind of percussion that we have laid out over there. And yeah, I have a Keijan over here that I use from time to time. Really kind of fun to play with it when you're doing like an acoustic set. Back here, just picked this up not too long ago. This is a Sony stereo coder, and it's a 4-track recorder, and I'm using it to actually bounce my mixes down into it from my DAW as I push things down. I just want to get a little bit more of that wow and flutter, kind of dirty it up a little bit. And then right above here we have some Greek instruments. So we have a baklama, a jura, and a bouzouki that we use. So very cool. Here we have two AKG C414s that I run as room mics, or if I'm recording drums, just to kind of give it that big ambient space. We are on a floating floor, and the walls are actually floating. So I built the studio myself, and the walls are actually floating walls. So they do kind of push and pull. I do want to actually build some sound damping material, but we'll probably get that hopefully before the end of the year. It'll be a nice little project. Let's see what else. If you turn around here, you can see we have a printer here if somebody wants to print something out. We've got, I am running a Neumann U87 and a blue, it's the baby bottle, or Bluebird, I think it's baby bottle. So we've got these kind of all sinking back into this area over here. So we kind of take a walk through this section here. I got a bass guitar and some CDs, and these are the way we used to do samples back in the day before we actually had sampling material where you can kind of copy and do that sort of thing. So a bunch of CDs up here, some cables. This used to be an old drum set that I had before my mom threw it out. It's a 1936 Ludwig and Ludwig, and now this is all that I have left. That and the bongos. This is just a little workstation here. We got some stuff. We can repair some equipment if we need to. I have an old harmonica back in here. No big deal. And then here we're actually transferring some video. So we do occasional video transfers or cassette transfers or even records. So from way back when. And then you can see I've got some computers down here. These actually used to be my SFTP before they had Dropbox and all the other fun stuff before that was developed. And then here is kind of the heart of the studio where we have, so I guess we can kind of start from the bottom and work our way up as we kind of look at this. So if we look at the bottom, I do have an APC that kind of backs everything up. I do have a nice power suppressor there in case anything happens. We've got the Mac, which I actually have running as dual boot. So I am running in Windows right now, but it also obviously boots into Mac OS, which is rock solid. And then I have some other equipment down there, which I have some other mics. We do some live audio recording, and I am doing some movie scoring, and we do kind of record a lot of like vocally stuff. So any dialogue, that sort of thing. The CB is there. That was actually used on a project that we did when somebody wanted to actually sound like they were talking through a CB. So since I was kind of a CB fan, I just used my old CB here and just kind of actually recorded that. Here we have a Mackie 32 channel board. I bought this from Guitar Center probably 15 years ago, 16 years ago, and it's a clean board. I mean, I'd love to have an automated board, but this is what we have right now that we're using, and it sounds great. I don't have any issues with it. The drums that we showed you earlier are triggered, and everything, like I said, does a route back through here. So this is where all the drum triggers go to. They go into my VC's I/O, and I do need the drum trigger. I do have various preamps that I have here. I am running a Pro Tools HD rig, and I also run Studio One, which I'm slowly weaning off of Pro Tools and kind of jumping into my Studio One setup. I have my pimp cup, so when I write hip hop and all the other stuff, I use my pimp cup, my pimp goblet. Various arrays of hard drives, another preamp over here. I do use the iPad to kind of mix whether I need to go back and forth, or I use my Frontier transport that I have still working. It's an old kind of just tangible controls where you can start, stop, and that sort of thing. I do have my M Audio, my trusty old M Audio interface here that still works solid. And then here I have my Furman, where everybody gets their own kind of mic or their own headphone readout that runs. And then this is my patch bay, and everything is patched in here. Every single output and input is patched in here, so I really don't have to go too far to bring anything in. It just gets directly brought in. I'm a huge PreSonus fan, so I also have my Digimax FS 8 channel mic pre. Sounds incredible. I have the MIDI timepiece that we use here. All those keyboards that were on that side all get routed into this MIDI timepiece if I need to run sounds back and forth for those. A bunch of hard drives, my Mackie HR824s, which sound incredible. Let's see what else. And I got some boards here. This is my studio. So when I sit and record and I want to just play around with sounds, that sort of thing, I use this little M Audio board here to kind of bring sounds in and out and test those. But then if I need to get like a nice big piano sound, I'll come over here and I'll plug my Wave keyboard. This key, although it looks busted, still works. So why get rid of it if it works perfectly and it's all integrated? And then this is the Akai MPK49, which is a great board. Don't use it much that often, but if I do want the kind of hands-free control, I can always start and stop stuff. I do like the pads because they do kind of have that Akai MPC flavor to them, so it's really nice to kind of hammer down on these pads. And the nice thing is they do have the fader, so if I do any kind of mixing, I do run Logic 2 on occasion, and I do have all these routed to Logic, which is really nice, and then you can kind of tap the tempo in. And again, these are the my Furman headphone remote mixing stations. They're old, but they still work solid. So, and then obviously Wonder Woman kind of keeps an eye on the place, make sure nobody does anything, and it's all safe. So, yeah. So this is this is kind of like my studio, my little playground area, and yeah, and that's it. So this is time where you guys gotta get out. So nice seeing you guys. Come back again. Don't be a stranger. If you need to contact me, I don't know. I guess look me up. See you later.